Guess what? We're live. You just did a Sting impression.
Oh, we did it? All right, here we go. Wait, let me do it again. Where'd it go? There we go. Happy Lunar Year, New Year is last week. Diatracks, I brought you day, walking on the moon.
You silly.
Was that any good? I hope my breath so big, working on the moon.
Okay. We are
Sorry, I had to get that out of my system.
live.
Yo, whatever happened? Remember the Walking on the Moon? It was like a sampled. It was like a 90s dance music. It was like a techno track, and they sampled that. It's on some compilation. I gotta dig that up.
Techno, best of techno, 1996.
Yo, those were tight though. There was some real weird. Who compiled that stuff? I mean, it's such a strange time. Not a strange time. Such an origination time of dance music. That like, what was, I wonder who someone is like. There's some weird shit. Remember Zoo Rave? That kind of stuff kind of sucked.
Yeah. Awesome. No, it kind of sucked, but it was kind of awesome. But you know what? Hey, we're actually live, and there's 57 people watching. What is up?
Hello. What up, everybody?
What is up?
We're just schmoozing in the background.
All you Lost Resort TV fam. Happy Thursday.
Oh, hi, Bandit. Come on, Bandit.
We're back for another schmooze. Me and Charlie and Bandit. And
come on, buddy.
This week we continue our celebration of Black History Month with another inspirational voice and DJ of dance music, Ultra Naté. Man, there's so much.
She's so much more than a DJ these days, Eli, and so much more than a vocalist and a DJ. She is a producer, a glam squad coordinator, a green screen setter-upper striker, a sound system owner, a club promoter, a diva, a this, a that. It's a friggin' powerhouse. And it was like, we're going to get into that on the show about like what it's like now. It's like already you got to be producer, DJ, singer, songwriter, blah, 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 blah. Now it's like you're a TV producer and a roadie. It's like, what? It's craziness, man. So.
It's really everything. It's really everything. I mean, you already had to wear so many hats as an independent musician, independent artist.
Yeah.
Before the pandemic, now it's like, that's it. If you can't rely on yourself, there's nothing. You got nothing. So
yeah.
Thankfully, there's two of us. That helps.
Yeah, and we got a great team. So shout out.
We do. We got J-Mac. We got folks who've been riding with us even when they don't get paid. So that's like that's how you know you got a good team.
Those are your ride or dies.
Big shout out to all those peeps. And including including Lost Resort, we're here.
What up, Lost Resort?
Down and Lost Resort fam. I see It's Good TV fam in the house too. What is up? But you know what? I got sidetracked because you know what we got to do?
We got to play that intro.
This is something special for you.
Schmoozing.
So
Long I see. Bamboozle.
Schmoozing. Talk amongst yourselves. Schmoozing.
So
Are you ready? The show's about to start.
Yes, we are feeling fierce today because we got Ultra Naté.
For sure. How's your week been, dude?
Man, life is crazy right now. On top of streaming on Twitch like 10 hours a week. We also have our album coming out in April. We just dropped our new EP. The second EP for the album comes out tomorrow, Transformation EP. Plus, y'all know I'm in grad school, so getting my master's in climate science and policy, and that started like last week. So, but I realized that a lot of my stress around that was just like the existential dread of when the homework is gonna hit me.
Yeah.
So like, now the homework has started to come in, and you just put my head down and I do it. Plus my daughter started jumping out of her crib, so she sleeps in her bed now and comes and wakes us up at 6:30 in the morning. So that's a whole other piece of it.
You gotta electrify that thing.
I was saying put barbed wire around the sides,
Oh,
but
barbed wire,
Andrea
like
was
that.
not into that one.
Inhumane. That's funny.
Sorry, Alma. No, I never do that.
No, you're a good dad. We gotta get you the mug, world's best dad. Do you have that one yet?
You can get that for me for Father's Day this
I will,
year,
dude.
buddy.
Oh my goodness, that's we'll happily do that for you.
But yeah, just like trying to continue on top of the school stuff, like just the path of engaging with climate change and climate action in music, having chats, conversations with people. Actually spoke on a panel for a Greener Festival, an organization out of the UK, last Friday. And I'm just so busy I didn't even remember to post about it on socials. So now I'm telling you about it. And it was a great panel talking about bringing sustainability into the conversation in the U.S. festival industry, coming out of COVID, which is really tough. Already the U.S. so behind in sustainability at festivals. Europe has a ton of initiatives and a ton of organizations and programs, and even local governments like in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, throughout the UK, that are encouraging different sustainable initiatives, or even requiring different, levels of sustainability at festivals. And that's something we just don't have at all here in the U.S. And, I've been learning a lot about policy and how I can try to influence that with my program. So that's exciting. But, it's so important to continue building bridges and talking to folks and just, having these discussions, because that's where the inspiration comes from. So I enjoy that. And,
So cool.
It's something we get to do here on Schmoozing sometimes. So that's also great.
Very proud of you, E. Is smashing it out there.
Thanks, buddy.
No doubt.
But that also means I drank a big ass cup of coffee before I got on now, and I'm fired up.
Well, that's great, dude. And I love how caffeine affects you, because I know your mom and dad are like big coffee drinkers, and they're so many years in on coffee. They're like, whatever, double, triple shot, and it's like no big thing. And you like have like one sip, and you go like cuckoo-riku.
Since I've been in school, though, I've definitely drank my coffee every morning. It's a new development. It's nice. It's a nice ritual getting up.
You're like, I'm on the high horse. Well,
yeah.
I got an update for you, and this is kind of like going back to our Osun Lade episode, who was talking a lot about growing mushrooms, and then he put us onto the Fantastic Fungi movie. Is that the name of it? I think that's the name of it, like the documentary. And then I got you for the holidays. I got you a mushroom growing kit, because I had gotten one, and I know we both had lion's mane mushrooms. And I harvested my first one after like a few weeks inside. And then what you're supposed to do is once you harvest it, you just chuck it outside. And I live in South Florida, so it's like humid as heck anyway. And in like 3 days, dude, look at this thing. I just pulled this. Look at this thing. Blop!
Boom! That's a lion's mane
Brines.
if I ever seen one.
Brines. Yo, these things are super delicioso.
So
highly recommend growing your mushrooms. It's something to do if you're bored.
So like mine that you sent me, I've harvested both now. But I keep them in on the side of the kitchen, so I remember to water to like spray them down. So throughout the day, but it's near our pellet stove, so it gets really dry there. So the next round I'm gonna try in the basement. Now that I'm down here, this is like where my office work is. I think it's a bit more humid. So
yeah, humidity. They love it.
Hopefully they're into that.
Yo, another thing I want to throw on the heat while we're just doing updates.
Sorry, that's the Mars rover. It started playing in the background.
Great. Yeah, I just want to talk about that. Mars Perseverance rover landed on Mars. And there's a simulation of like what goes on. And this is, it's the same. I guess it's the same that was going on before. Dude, this thing is flying at Mars at like 50,000 miles an hour. And then it slows down and that thing falls off. And then they got the jet. This is like how an idiot describes it. Well, it's flying at the mountain, to Mars. And then the thing falls off and it's got the jets there. And then the jets fire off. Anyway, how we are doing this stuff, we are the aliens, bro. Let me tell you.
It's true. We are the aliens.
And that just like drops off. And like, what? How are they doing this? On an iPhone?
This is a simulation, right?
I know, but it's just like, how do they figure this out? We're like busy playing like Pong, and they're using the same technology to like fly.
It's actually probably folks who are live streaming their gaming on Twitch who come up with this stuff.
Right? They're like, this easy. So how do we even know that's so far away? Ugh,
So cool.
boggles the mind.
So cool.
Yeah, boggles the mind. Thank you. Just big up, shout out, Squint Eastwood 98, who reminded us that this was a big thing that's happened since our last show.
Yes.
And big up to Chuck Fishman, just because we love him, who's calling us the procrastination station. He's the procrastination station. I don't know, but we love you, bro.
Rishi
Oh,
Mushroom
yo.
Powder for your project is due.
I'm late on the comments. Remember that Osun Lade
Yeah,
Soul Clap party? That was dope.
that was dope. So yeah, let's get into our Bandcamp song of the week.
Yeah, for sure.
Should we do that? Should we do it?
The Bandcamp Song of the Week.
Yeah.
The
So check
Bandcamp
it out. Yeah. Zed Records, big up Dave Lee, and our homie Tim Mudina from Tropical Disco. He's been working there, so it's been great catching up with him, and we talk often. And he reminded me that they just put up some of these Under the Influence disco compilations. If you're into the weirder side of disco and like, I don't even know what to call, like unnamed electronic music of that era, there are some weird and awesome titles. Remember that track, Doug Hareem Blunt?
Mm,
What was the name of that? Gentle Persuasion. That's
yes.
how I came up on that one. So
And
Dave
it's such
Lee,
a-
always the compilation master and just doing cool things. Anyway, these are really dope. And here's a really weird track off there called Lord of Storm, I'm Human. Hey, you gotta mute yourself. I hear.
Don't you know I'm human? Can't you see? I'm human. Don't you know I'm human? Can't you see? I'm human. Don't you know I'm human? Can't you see? I'm human. Don't you know I'm human? Can't you see? Since I came to this planet, you call your Earth, and made from you there was so much evil going around. I'm human. Don't you know I'm human? Can't you see? I'm human. Don't you know I'm human? Can't you see? Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. Talking to the human. I'm human. Don't you know I'm human? Can't you see? Say it loud. I'm human. Don't you know I'm human? Can't you see? Now I want every human to change their ways, baby. We gotta get you, we gotta let you know, yeah. We gotta get you, we gotta let you know, yeah. Repent, human. Human got to repent. Repent, human. Human got to repent. Repent, human. Human got to repent. Say that. Repent, human. Human got to repent. I'm human, can't you see? Sing it out, I'm human, don't you know? I'm human, can't you see? I'm human, don't you know? I'm human, can't you see? Don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, don't stop. Choke into the human. I'm human, don't you know? I'm human, can't you see? Sing it out, I'm human, don't you know? I'm human, can't you see? I'm human, don't you know? I'm human.
Yeah, correction. This was compiled by Winston. Not
Who's
by
Winston?
Dave. I don't know. Could it be anyone? Got to ask Dave. Got to have Dave on the show. Got to have Tim on the show.
That'd be great. Yeah.
Dude, that song has everything. It's got like some Afro guitar. It's got the horn section. It's got like the chants, like the Brides of Funkenstein kind of chants. It's got the nucleus, like squeaky voice. Migsmag is asking, are those the Smurfs singing? Maybe the Chipmunks. But wait, didn't the Smurfs sound like that too?
That's like the chipmunk voice. That's what I think of when I think of chipmunk voice.
That's how 1981 was.
Chipmunk's voice.
Had
only.
to have a Smurf or a chipmunk on your track.
Yo, remember Poopy and the New York Squirrels? I mean,
Yo,
come on.
Poopy and the New York Squirrels, dude. Yo, Patrick Adams.
Yep.
Weird alias. Who's Poopy?
Who's Poopy?
It's like if you were in a bad mood on a studio day, it's like, oh, here comes Poopy again.
Before we bring in Ultra, I really want to get Ultra in, but we had a really special night last night here on our Soul Clap Music Twitch. We had our second virtual release party for our Transformation EP that's out tomorrow. Virtual back-to-back to the Q&A. We talked a lot about history of Soul Clap stuff, which was fun.
It was so fun.
Funny.
Dude.
A lot of great chat room participation.
We had some excellent banter.
And you know, I mean, let's play it. Should I play a little of it?
Play a little bit. Yo, folks, when we compiled, and there's got to be stuff missing. When we compiled like digitally all the stuff we've done, originals, edits, remixes, and there were, to be fair, some remixes of our stuff. We had like over 30 hours worth of music, dude. So that's good for some middle school students of the game.
Attitude, manners, mood, and attitude.
Eli's great, by the way.
And attitude, manners, mood, and attitude.
That's Greg Paulus, y'all. Greg Paulus.
We like to have fun, especially on the Twitch channel. We got puppets. We got lime green berets.
It's like, yo, here's an idea. Put some DJs, quarantine them for over a year, and watch them lose their friggin' marbles.
Well, yeah. I mean, tune in. We're back. We'll be back on Friday for our more virtual back-to-back Friday night, and we'll just keep experimenting, keeping it moving. I mean, big shout out to the chat community and everybody on Twitch, and I see a lot of our squad up here on Lost Resort right now too.
Do you want to put the QR code up just for anyone that's interested in a pre-order?
Right?
Yeah.
I don't have it on the Schmoozing. I don't have it over here right now, but we can drop it in the chat. Someone drop that in the chat for us.
Yeah, that'd be great. Pop that up, and this is dope. This is the second EP out of 3, leading up to an April release on Fool's Gold.
Earth Day album.
Yes.
The World
Kelly
Transformation Force. But enough about us. You guys know all about us. Let's bring in our special guest today, Miss Ultra Naté.
I'm not worthy. I'm out.
Hey, you guys.
What's up?
Ultra.
Hi, darlings. How are you? Listen, the puppet was everything. Let's just be clear. We're all doing it wrong until we get about it.
Oh God, they saw. No, it's great.
Our puppet.
Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I mean, just to start it off, like I was when we had a really great catch up the other day, just leading up to like putting the show together, and Eli had a chance to play Deep Sugar in Baltimore, but neither you or I were there. I don't know what I was doing. I can't remember, but
Yeah.
I'm jelly that I didn't get to play the club. I don't know. Maybe that's a cool jump off place to talk about Deep Sugar. The club's gone. You told me the building itself in Baltimore has been demolished. What's up?
Yep.
How's Baltimore been? What's going on? Yeah.
Well, we haven't had a chance to properly mourn the actual building being gone now. I mean, the party left there and we had to basically close the building down in preparation for the demolition within about 3 years now, maybe going into the 4th year. So it's just been sitting. But there's that finality, like the building has actually been demolished now, is like a whole other level. And I don't think it's fully impacted us all yet because we're all still kind of in a not moving place anyway.
Yeah.
But in a minute, we're going to fully absorb that. And, we all spent a lot of time, I know probably the last 2 years, knowing that the club was going to close. And we were given an extended grace period, which was really fortunate. So we had a lot of time to mourn it properly, to memorialize it properly, and to just make sure that we made all of those connections with our past and with what we want to do in the future and where things are going. And at the moment, we're just kind of in a holding pattern. I mean, Deep Sugar is a party, and Deep Sugar is about the people that support the party, not necessarily the building. Because
sure.
even while Paradox was here, Deep Sugar was still going on in different places around the world. And we've started in 2 other venues before we even went to Paradox for 10 years then.
Yeah.
And since then, we still do the party in different places. So it's just a matter of, where we make it happen, where we create that vibe, that energy. The party is really dictated by the music and the people that attend it. Obviously, not having our home club, an amazing venue like the Paradox, that hurts.
That was getting to go there, play there. I mean, it was like a piece of US dance music, rave music history.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like a vibe and a spot that I didn't think I would get to experience again. It was like the last kind of rave club left.
It was the last
US.
bastion. Yes, there was the last.
Yeah,
one
and I got to hang with Lisa Moody. Shout out. And also, I mean, Spen played that night too. That was my first time meeting Spen.
Yeah,
so it was a really amazing night.
I know, Charlie. We missed it.
Man.
I was on tour. I was in Europe, and I was I think I was in residency in Ibiza that summer. So I was, programming the lineups and putting the events together and doing all the promotion. So, on socials, it looked like I was still there and present, but I was actually physically on the other side of the planet. And I wanted to make sure that nights were programmed that were going to be epic throughout the summer. In the summertime, it's harder to get people to come into a building because everyone wants to be outside. Mm-hmm. But, I knew, with the right talent lineups and combinations of people, the club support would still be sustained all through the summer months. And it did. A lot of people came that night, really enjoyed, and they had never actually had a chance to experience Soul Clap. So that was awesome for some of the people in our community who may had never heard of Soul Clap, or those who have heard of you and hadn't really heard you play, to hear you, that kind of system, that kind of amazing, thunderous, resonant, deep, sound system, all night long.
It was the Richard Long system, right?
Yeah, parts of it were, but over the years there have been additional parts added to it, and but that's where our origins were from, and that started with the O'Dells era through Wayne Davis, influenced by what was happening with Paradise Garage, Richard Long sound systems, the Warehouse in Chicago, Frankie Knuckles, and all of that. So Baltimore's incarnation of that started with O'Dells, and then Wayne opened Club Fantasy, which was a much smaller club and downtown, in the heart of downtown, and the city decided they were going to put a light rail right through that street. So as always. And so they bought him out of that location. And with with that, he built what was then an industrial area and nothing and no one around that area, and built Paradox. And so 27 years it lasted.
What's up with developers? They're like, culture? No. We'll bulldoze that and build condominiums.
No, it's actually it's systematic that they actually bring culture in to raise the value of the property.
yeah.
So they
it's
can
a
then
thing.
kick it out and bring in
Wreck it
an
and then
entire
wreck it.
property.
Yeah. Yeah.
Suits, man. The
They
suits.
do
What's
it on purpose.
happened now, now it's that area is being built up, which it was used to be just kind of, an industrial area. No one went down there. It was just all warehouses and just kind of the outer skirts of the city before you hit the highway. Now it's being built up as the entertainment district, but they knocked down Paradox in order to create an entertainment district. So you put that together. I don't know.
We've lived through a handful of those in our world. In Boston, Rise nightclub. Shout out to Rise, and then condos or whatever happened there. In Brooklyn, the original Marcy Hotel over, and nobody went to that part of town. Actually, now everybody goes to that part of town. Eli put a club there. So many people go to that part of town. Eli put a club. So many people go to that part of town. Eli put a club there, and then the Uber surge prices went up.
I mean, it's all a racket. It's all a racket.
Electric Nobody went down. Wynwood was dodgy as a mofo, and now
it's like, exactly.
You can't.
But the Marcy Hotel space is empty now. It's still empty. It's for rent. Like Boiler Room moved in there for a minute, and then had to move out, and it's empty. I drive by there, and it's like there's nothing, and I'm just memories. So
memories.
I know.
Or as I like to call them,
forgets.
I call them forgets. Because I don't remember.
So we're still going. We're still keeping it moving. And once venues are able to open up again, even for limited capacity, Deep Sugar will pick right back up with the pod series, which is calls for what the circumstances of today are with the mitigation and a much smaller crowd and spaced out, socially distanced appropriately, to make it really, conscious of what is happening and what is necessary, because safety is always job one. But it's also important, for people to kind of keep their sanity, and that social connection is still very, very important. And we have to worry about our mental health as well. So
are there any clear plans or regulations coming from Baltimore, from the municipal government or anything, or it's just kind of we'll see what happens when it happens?
What in terms of things opening back up again?
Yeah. I think that there's just a lack of planning on the part of cities for how they're going to reopen.
Well, Baltimore City specifically, I don't live in the city, I live in the county, but Baltimore City specifically is going by COVID infection rate numbers and deaths. And so as that number continues to decline, once it reaches a certain place in terms of how much infection is circulating every single day, how many new infections are being reported every day, as that number starts to decline, it'll get back to where that sweet spot is of them feeling that it's safe for people to be able to be in social environments. So we're just waiting for the numbers to come back down, because everyone's forecast, this is really no surprise where we are in this moment, because they've been forecasting really since the pandemic hit last year that this was going to be a cold, long, hard, dark winter with infection rate numbers going through the roof. And because of prior administration's policies,
the great, as Nona Hendricks refers to him, the Great Orange One.
or lack thereof, policies and federal response to create a nice cohesive movement to set us up for success. We are now playing catch up, and the worst case scenario is what actually came into being. And so hopefully now that things are changing and being ramped up appropriately, we should be moving in the right direction. And so I'm hoping over the next few weeks, there's been some significant decline across the nation with the infection numbers. So if we stay on this trajectory and continue to ramp it up, we can get rid of some of these snowstorms so that things can keep moving. We'll be in a good place.
Still snowing out my window.
Still slowing.
It's snowing here in Miami, baby. Too, if you know what I mean. Ayo! No, just playing.
You
Actually,
shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that
That's
the
not
UK,
nice.
Rather, that's just still watching the short. No, I heard a statistic that we're still at 100,000 new cases a day, and it's like 30% of the country has already contracted and had. So let's just keep on moving. But look, in the chat room, shout out Destruct Sean, who clearly is repping Baltimore, who said that 222 live music is back. And that the mayor of Baltimore announced that yesterday. So, that's
there you go.
Thinking. We'll see, but Destruction, I certainly hope so.
I want to throw there too, like the Prime Minister of the UK basically is saying that he wants to do rapid testing to enable nightclubs and theaters to reopen sooner.
Whatever it takes. I'm here for it. Just let's get it going.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
But the rapid tests, I mean, I don't know. Those tests, I've heard a lot of back and forth as far as their reliability.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like at least it's another layer, right? It's like even if it's not
100%
accurate, if there is somebody even if it catches only half the people that are actually sick, at least you caught those.
Yeah.
But
listen,
you had a false positive on a rapid test, bro.
I did. I played a festival out at a summer camp in northern Pennsylvania towards the end of the summer. That was all. It was two levels of testing. So you had to do a mail-in test and then and send those results over like the week before, and then when you arrived, they did rapid tests out of your car as you pulled into the parking lot. And my first result actually came back positive on that rapid test. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I've just been sitting at home by myself. Like, how did this happen? And that because I'm an artist, luckily they're like, okay, well, we do 2 more, and if you come back negative on the next 2, we assume it was a false positive. So I did the 2 more, and they came back negative. But that was like a scare. And
better a false positive than a false negative.
Better false positive than false negative, right? That's for sure.
True. So we're just moving with the times and adjusting on the fly. We're always staying nimble, staying agile, and just ready to experiment and try things as appropriate. It's you just have to be mutable and flexible and go with what happens. I mean, that's part of the staying power of being in this industry is you have to know how to, move and flow with what the moment dictates.
Yeah.
There was another great article about play graves, this time in Attack Magazine, talking about Tulum, Mexico, and how it continues to be a bastion of partying, even as COVID-19 continues to look, it's getting better, but there's still so much danger and risk about going out there and partying.
Well, it's just
and getting back on an airplane and coming home.
People just need to be extremely careful and take care of themselves, but also take care of everyone else.
Yeah.
If everyone has that attitude where we're all in it together, and it's not just about protecting yourself, it's about protecting everyone else around you. If everyone has that thought process, then we can actually do this. And they had said that in the beginning that we could do this without the extreme lockdowns, but it's because there's so much, everyone is so all over the place, and not all of that is entirely the people's fault. Some of it is from the top down, the messaging that came through early on. But there's it's a matter of everyone staying the course and being on the same page, and then we can do this and we can move around with each other. We just have to do it in a way where we're conscious. And some people would just refuse to be conscious. They would rather just kind of be intentionally obtuse. They just don't get it.
Obtuse is the word.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine that, but I do I hope that in dance music, right? Like our community looks out for each other generally. So it's like, how do we make sure those are the people who are, everybody's thinking like that. And those are the people that can be rewarded and get back to normal sooner rather than just trying to rush into it.
Yeah, but
well, that's the goal.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, that's the goal. I mean, I know everyone in our community, when we've thrown events just before everything shut down completely again. I mean, our crowd has been and is still very happy to comply because they know these things are put in place only for their safety, and because we are conscious of taking care of them as well as ourselves. We look at it as a community, as a family effort. So it's a relationship. It's a relationship.
I was just going to say that unfortunately in dance music, it's like not everything is deep sugar. Not everything is plur. You know what I mean? There's plenty of VIP and them, you know what I mean? And I think that
Right.
these sort of situations breed this other mentality. I'm not just gonna, shit on all bottle service clubs, but like as long as there's this separation where there's, inequality bred into the very narrative of the clubbing experience, then it's not like this thing, we're all in it together, we got to look out for each other. And unfortunately,
Right.
it seems like this is the kind of environment that like where this instance of carelessness and lack of empathy and compassion is rampant. And once again, go back to Tulum, like we said when we were talking about that, when that big festival was going on, I forget the name of it. Then we were, it was reported clearly that the governor or mayor down there is a shareholder in one of the bigger venues. So of course they're going to be open.
There you go.
There's a great, to go back to this though.
Yep.
The author of this most recent piece in Attack Mag ends by saying we can let dance music continue to get completely whitewashed and watered down for the sake of money and ego, or we can be more mindful about the impacts on others of the entertainment we seek out. I think that says it pretty amazingly. Shout out to Anna Monroy Iglesias.
It's true. Yeah. And it just starts with each and every individual that supports the music, that wants to go out and, have their soul fortified by the music and what we do. We have to recognize that this is a real moment that we're in, and the cost is lives. As you can see, that so many have been lost in such a short span of time. When we do get back to actually being in a room together and being in a club together, you're going to look around and realize there's a lot of people who were here last year that are no longer here. And that's when the full impact and the full weight of what we've experienced is really going to hit everyone.
That really is a good point. It's hard to feel that impact when you're not physically in the presence of your people.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, onto.
It's heavy. It is heavy.
Hard. It's
and you
hard.
have to be okay with that.
It's okay. Yeah.
With
Agreed.
that moment. You know what I mean? We don't need to fill every space. This is not normal. There's nothing normal about this moment. So there's no point in trying to whitewash it, sugarcoat it, downplay it. You've got to look this thing straight in the eye and live with it. Like, we have lost people. We have lost friends and family to this pandemic. And that is a very real thing. And that moment is not going to go away. We have not been able to properly mourn a lot of people. We have not been able to feel the real impact of the loss. And so that's going to be a collective wow moment when we get through just being in this state of anxiety about it and are able to take a deep breath and feel a sense of normalcy. That's when the full weight happens. And this is just where we are. So the thing for us to do is, how do we survive this moment? How do we continue to progress, be creative? How do we continue to connect? And how do we survive this moment? And what is the point of it? Like, what do we take away from it when it's over? Was it all just for torture, or was there something more that we're supposed to walk away with this moment?
Yeah.
That's, I think that that's like, for me, such a big part of the climate work and like the ideas of sustainability, and also really thinking about this like inclusion and equity in dance music, something that's kind of had been forgotten until I think until this time, when people had time to really feel the impact of like George Floyd being murdered and the whole Black Lives Matter movement, to have this moment when nothing else was happening, right? Like, to really impact all the areas of our lives, and to think about how the movement and how racism and systemic racism affects all those areas. That was, as hard as it is, that was almost a benefit, right? Is this pause gives us the chance to think about that, gives us the chance to think about climate change, gives us the chance to think about, when we come back, how are we going to be new people that can push these ideas and make the world better for our communities and for the broader, dance music and the broader planet.
No, it's very important. It's crucial. And I'm really proud of you. That's so awesome to hear that you're doing that you're mastering in those areas, because that is really, at the end of the day, what it all boils down to. Because we can fight over politics and we can fight over policy and all of these things. But at the end of the day, if we don't take care of Mother Earth, like, we're all done for collectively. We're done.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is really essential right now, because this is, and we're also in a moment of a big wake up call on that area. And there are those that are trying to downplay that reality as well. It's like they want to live in this alternative reality, which I don't really understand that thought process. You know, if it's about money or power, you can't take those things with you when you leave here. And guaranteed, none of us are getting out alive. So I don't understand what the point is of that, but that's not my mentality or motivation. So of course I wouldn't understand that. But there are those that are on, you know, the short-term plan of, let me just get everything I can get out of this moment. And, you know, I don't care about the fallout, you know, about many people. I mean, look at that mayor in Texas that just resigned. That was just like, you know, what's happening in Texas right now, and said something to the effect of, you know, only the strong will survive. And basically you're on your own. And
you know, if you look at maps from the sky, from space of Texas right now during these power blackouts, you can literally see that the more affluent neighborhoods have power, and the poor neighborhoods, the black and brown neighborhoods, do not have power. That's what happens when you have an electricity grid that's not built that's not regulated, that's not, you know, built for the people who are consuming the electricity, you know. And you know, Texas, for years there's been warnings that an extreme climate event, extreme cold, would cause massive damage to the infrastructure, and they didn't do anything about it. And here you see that the affluent people who can pay more for power are doing it, and they have power, and the poorer people, and, you know, even, you know, middle class can't actually afford to have regular power now and heat their homes and get through this really difficult time. So I mean, you see the convergence of all these different ideas and all this different action that needs to happen, right? It's like with COVID too, you know, the disproportionate effect on poor communities and on black and brown communities. You know, we see it in music, we see it in climate, we see it in all of it. And so it's, I mean, this is, you know, to go back to, this is like, as hard as it is, it's like we have to take this time as a positive, where we can go out of it much more awake to what's going on, all that stuff. And hopefully more people are, more, you know, more people are now too. You know, obviously there's still a lot of people who want to deny it all, but I do think that there are more people coming out of this now that see a lot clearer what's actually going on.
I hope so.
I hope you're right. I do hope so.
I hope so. Yeah. I hope people use this moment in a productive way and use their voice and use their platform. I know there are a lot of artists that lean on the fence in terms of kind of making their political or social views public in that way, for fear of reprisal or judgment or loss of fan base or something like that. But I think it's very important when you have a platform, no matter how small, to state your position and to be an advocate for change and for inclusion, equality, and, you know, to support those who are being maligned, those who are marginalized. I mean, I feel like this is the only true power that you have.
Yeah, that definitely resonates. For sure. And, you know, early on in the pandemic, we were talking a lot about that, because there was this moment, you know, leading into the big election, Black Lives Matter, and so many other things going on. And, you know, artists coming out and speaking their mind and for change and for positivity, and having the fans respond by saying, you know, shut up and play your music. You know, there's no room for politics in music and dance music. And, you know, just to echo once again, you know, electronic music is entirely about these values and politics. That is the roots in which, that's like the basis in which we're formed on. And you know, I'm just really glad to hear you say that, Ultra, and people, you know, listen.
No, it's true. I mean, I got backlash as well from some people. Not that I care, I mean, particularly, but, you know, not everybody has the chops for that kind of controversy. What I'm not going to do is argue with foolishness, with foolish people, because if you're coming from a place, you know, where it's just clear that you just want to lean towards the negative and your interest is absolutely not about my equality, then I have no conversation for you. And, you know, I don't have time to waste like that. But if you want to have a mature, intelligent conversation, I'm all here. I'm here for it. But that's been my personal position, and just maybe it's just my very Pisces Aries kind of way. I need to state my position. But there are others who have been pretty quiet about a lot of the really important things that have happened, and I'm watching you. I see you, and I'm not happy with it, because I think it's important. It's important to use your platform, to push the agenda forward, and that's really what artists have always done. That's what being an artist has always been about. It's not about playing it safe necessarily all the time. It's about really speaking your voice. And how are you going to be a fan of people like Bob Marley or Nina Simone, and so many great Ray Charles, and so many like great artists out there? How are you going to be a fan of theirs and then you won't put yourself out there on the line? You won't even put your position out there on the line. You want to play it close and play it safe. It's not a cool place, but everybody has to make the decisions that they can live with. So,
I think
what
like
was the quote? Sorry, what was the quote from White Man Can't Jump? Wesley Snipes tells Woody Harrelson is like, you're listening to James Brown, but you're listening to Jimi Hendrix, but you're not hearing Jimi Hendrix or something like that.
Yeah, it's very that. It's very that. Yeah.
I was gonna say too that it's like, not everybody is an activist. Like not every artist, I mean, can be out there doing it in the same way, right? Everybody has different ways.
Right.
Not everybody, has the history, experience, understanding, or comfort to go out and say the kind of stuff that we're saying, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But like, it's everybody can do it in their own way, whether that's choosing an organization that resonates with you and trying to get your people to donate to them, or just raise awareness about them, or whether it's doing it through your music and making music that is somehow political, even if you don't say it overtly, like that's part of your process, or just the inclusion of the people that you spend time with. Like there's so many different ways to be engaged in the world and engaged in positive change. It doesn't have to be being this, up on the soapbox, but, think about what, as an artist, it should be one of the, especially, like I said, especially in dance music, because this music comes from marginalized people. That's whose shoulders we're standing on. It's our responsibility to in some way engage and acknowledge that, and however you're comfortable, it's not the same for everybody.
I sense
no, it's not the same for anyone, but right is right and wrong is wrong. And it's very easy to just simply say that, because I want to know what your opinion is in terms of your intention where I'm concerned. If you separate me from my art, from being a singer, songwriter, whatever that you are a fan of when it comes to me as an artist, if you separate me from that, I am a Black woman. And so where is your position on my life? And that's where the reality is. I don't want to get a pass because you like my music, or I don't feel that it's fair for you to think that I shouldn't have a voice or an opinion about what's happening in my world that I'm a part of, because you're a fan of my music and all you want to hear is what I have to say in this very specific dimension. So, it depends, but don't get me started again.
No,
hey, we are way past started here, Ultra.
We are a little past started.
No, but I do sense a segue, because Ultra, you're talking about musicians having putting the politics and their voice into the music. You are literally doing so as a songwriter and as a singer, but you are also, and this is a message that you've carried the entire time that you've been writing music and releasing music, but you are doing so much for advocacy, especially around LGBTQ. And you were telling me you were working for a specific charity. I was hoping you could kind of shed the light on that, and then we can start listening to some of the music that carries this message.
Well, yeah, I mean, I've been doing advocacy work, I mean, in many different initiatives over the years through the LGBTQ community, and various initiatives. If I kind of like go back over it, I mean, just even like disaster relief, or like hurricane this or earthquake that or tsunami here, and these kind of things going on, or even more recently from Maryland Food Bank for the hunger crisis that a lot of families are facing right now because of the pandemic, where there is a need. And if I feel like, my platform, my voice can help in any way, just a small thing, because sometimes we look at the problem and it's so overwhelming, it's so huge that we cut ourselves off from being connected to it. It's like, oh my God, it's a tsunami. People are, starving. Their homes are a wreck. There's nothing that we can do. We're on the other side of the world. It's not my problem. And, I feel like if you look at it like, what little bit can I add to this to help, and really take that, just your little small corner of the world, what little bit you can do, every little bit helps. So recently I've done a single called Fierce that just came out 3 weeks ago. It's myself and Mila Jam, who is trans from New York, civil activist and dance pop artist. Angelica Ross is also on the track, and people know and love Angelica from Pose as Candy. I was a big fan from Pose, and she went to American Horror Story. So
awesome.
Yeah, so the three of us are on this track, and it is creating awareness on the murders of trans women that has grown exponentially in the last year or two, and it is all benefiting charities towards trans women.
What's wrong is right. Just listen to your heart. Music is free zone. I work hard for what I've got. I work for it. I work hard for what I've got. I work for it. So act like you know.
Vocoder though.
Be legendary, be necessary, extraordinary. Be legendary, be necessary, extraordinary. Glitz up, I'm first, glitz up, I'm first. Glitz up, I'm first, glitz up, I'm first.
No disguise, no secrets left to hide. Wearing it with my gender is soul. Open your eyes and take in the sights. Religion has no rights, God only knows. I work hard for what I got. I work for it. I work hard for what I got. I work for it. So act like you know. Be legendary, be necessary, extraordinary. Be legendary, be necessary, extraordinary. Call me mother, call me mother, call me mother, call me mother. Call me mother, call me mother, call me mother, call me mother. Be legendary, be necessary, extraordinary. Call me mother, be legendary, be necessary, extraordinary. You better walk, you better walk, yeah. You better walk, you better walk.
Yo, hot tune.
Thank you.
Yeah. I just want to throw in the pot here, and I don't know because I had clicked away to another screen for a second to look at some of the content that we're going to share today. But Destruction, who's killing it with the comments, respect to you, Destruction. He said, "Wow, this show production is on point," and then he says, I work at IK Multimedia is 100 times better than our work streams." Well, respect to you, Destruction, because we're doing all of this ourselves. We're like, oh God, we don't have a producer anymore. But since this month began, we're like, you know what? We're just going to take it over ourselves. So thank you for that destruction on that really hits home.
I had forgotten to mute myself, and but I was saying that it's gave me the CNC Music Factory vibe on the production on that track and the raps.
Oh, yo,
the Call Me
Right.
Mother part. That was I love that. Who produced that track?
Thank you. It's produced by Anthony Preston and Andre Lindell. And they're out of LA, and they've been doing a lot of work actually for the last few years, doing a lot of pop dance stuff with like Britney Spears and will.i.am and those kind of folks. So Anthony and I have been friends for, I don't know, well over 10, 12 years now. Maybe more. I've kind of lost track. But we've been threatening to get together and work on some music together. And finally, a couple of years ago, when I was going back and forth to LA, I carved some time in my schedule. I got in with him. He had written the song already. And so I recorded it, laid all the parts down. And the idea was to not just approach it as a new Ultra Naté single, but approach it as what it is now, as something that was going to represent the LGBTQ community and trans women, and be something that was more of an initiative to bring awareness for change. And that change is for trans women. So that's why we brought in Mila and Angelica to represent just that support and that mutual love and respect between cisgender women and trans women, and to work to stop the violence. And so it's a fundraising project. All the proceeds from the song go to GLAAD and 2 or 3 other charities that benefit the lives of trans women. And so, the song's basis is to speak to being comfortable within your own skin as a Black woman, and being okay with, who you are as a person, and being legendary and extraordinary and necessary. It's fortifying your soul as who you are as the most marginalized community on the planet. We need to show that kind of respect and support, because what we do as Black women is appropriated by so many different cultures. And when it's done by everyone else, it's hot and it's fly and it's cool. But when it's done by us, well, it's frowned upon, it's ghetto, it's this, it's that, it's all these other things, and turned around on us a lot of times. So what the song speaks to is being comfortable in your skin and with your power, and standing in light and being unapologetic about it.
Oh yeah, love
Definitely
it.
up for that.
Yeah, that resonates.
Yeah, and to this is like something that I think this work and this embracing and supporting is something that has kind of shown through in your music, in your works, in your performance for most of your career. I think like seeing that, like what with Free, as Charlie and I looked through all the videos. First of all, I think the perfect place to start is with this fan video of.
Well, I just want to. Yeah. Before you press play, I just want to give a little backtrack on a little backstory on that, just from an email from your manager, Angelo. You've got to shout out Angelo. You got a great manager. He's awesome, by the way. We spoke on the phone for a second. He's like, Charlie, where's the link? We need the link. He's like on it. So respect. You can't be Ultra Naté's manager and not be the shizzle. So shout out to Angelo. But just like a little backstory. It says here he wrote last summer, Ultra was the only female to make the top 10 best Ibiza anthems of all time for Free, the all-time list for Tomorrowland's One World Radio during Pride, because she is also not only one of the greatest all-time divas of in dance music, but especially in the Pride community. Forget about it. Right? During Pride, Burberry utilized the original in a quarantine selfie style clip of the brand ambassadors and the brand's ambassadors and influencers. For many World Pride celebrations in 2019, Free was universally named as one of the top Pride anthems of all times. Yeah. The iconic Ultra Naté has also been ranked as one of Billboard's greatest of all times dance music, et cetera, et cetera. We don't have to speak too much more of your accolades. But forget about it.
You guys are crazy.
Is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah,
Wow.
that whole Billboard thing was pretty crazy. I'm
Crazy.
still stunned about that, and that's pretty wonderful to be considered the number 12 out of 100 top dance artists of all time. Like, there were some names on that list that I was ahead of. Like, what? My bank account does not reflect that, but I'll take it.
You know,
You know,
like,
but-
there's the money and then there's the love, you know.
no, absolutely.
I gotta
I'm
say,
completely-
and I
I
will
get it.
also every time, you know, still to this day, because you know we've been listening to you since we were kids, but still to this day, every time that guitar lick starts on Free, the hair stands up on ends on my arms. I'm just like, shout out to Mood to Swing for that version. Psst, what? You know?
So good.
And
Good, you know,
we have new
were-
new versions because you just dropped like 10 new remixes, and that came out like yesterday.
Wait,
nine.
We're gonna pause to his video first, and then we'll talk about the new versions.
I'm excited.
Before
Yeah, what is this video?
Before I play this
What
video,
is this
I
video?
want to rewind. I can play it in the background. I can just play it. I can
Oh,
play
you
it
didn't
while
see
we
the
close.
video yet, Ultra.
What video? I don't know.
Oh, your
what you're
manager
talking
sent this.
about.
Yo. Well, you should play with the music, man.
Oh, that's the Burberry video. Okay, yeah, this is the Burberry World Pride.
Oh, I mean, did you
video they
hit
did.
audio, Eli?
It should be on. It's weird.
There it goes.
Cool. I just want to say while this is playing in the background, though, Angelica Ross, who's on the last song and also in Pose, also. Let me bring this down for a second.
Oh, here, just
Pause this for one sec.
Yeah.
Angelica Ross also launched the Trans Tech Social Enterprise organization in Chicago, which basically teaches trans and LGBTQ and femmes coding. So computer coding, like this is such an important thing, and it's something that's so often overlooked, right? It's like not just encouraging the arts for people, it's also encouraging them to be coders, because that is like, you know, one of the most lucrative industries to be in at this point. So it's like empowering people to do anything they want is so important. So shout out Angelica Ross for using her platform for positive change. That's always an amazing thing to see.
She's special. She's special.
Okay, so here we go.
I think it's slowed down.
Work. Who plays guitar? Who's playing guitar on this?
Woody Pack.
Woody Pack, huh? We need to say his name a few more times, because give him some credit, because this song, it's like one of the great examples of guitar on house music.
Thank you.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
There's not too many guitar solo house music tracks.
Nope.
You know, Eli's actually been anti-guitar on house over the years, but maybe he's come around.
Oh, that's interesting. I started making the song with the guitar.
I resent that generalization. In fact, I signed Nick Monaco to Soul Club Records, who has guitar all over his music. So
that's true. He does have. I just remember you telling me that. You're like, bro, no guitars. But then you were saying yesterday on the thing you weren't feeling sax on the house music, but maybe you're just feeling timid.
No, I'm just saying that sax on house music can be one of the most cheesy, horrible reputations for house music is cheesy sax on house.
Well, cheesy sax, cheesy guitar. And then, it's any, there's always examples, but then there's always examples where these instruments shine so strong. Like, how about speaking about Basement Boys, shouting out Spen and all them. How about the violin track?
Ooh.
That's got to be one of the greatest violins on house music. Woo!
It's all in what you do with it.
It's all in how
we started when we wrote Free. The first idea that I had, the only idea that I had initially when we started was to design a track that had these kind of guitars. And so we came up with like what the guitar is going to actually sound like what it's going to do. And then everything else was built around that. Even the concept of free to do what you want to do. All of that came after the guitars.
Well, I just wanted to shine a light on exactly how massive this song still is, has been. Can we just take a look at the 1997, 1998 Party in the Park, just so people have a sense of what it meant at that moment. Look at the size of this crowd, yo. It looks kind of choppy on my end. I'm getting frame by frame. I hope it's not playing that way.
I think I have too many windows open. I'm trying to close windows. I'm working on it.
Look at this. This is like Ultra plays Wembley. Wembley, mate. This is like, it's like you might as well be doing like main stage Glastonbury. I'm sure you probably did play main stage Glastonbury for this song.
I haven't done Glastonbury.
Oh, what? Come on, Glasto, you're coming back. How about Ultra Naté? Last year, you had Beyonce. Anyway.
Aw, look at the little baby.
Oh my gosh. What the heck was going through your mind when this was happening?
Please don't trip over this skirt. That's why I'm holding the bottom of it like, oh my God, this is not the moment to trip over your skirt.
This is one of those dance music tracks that it's like, everybody knows the words to it. They don't make them like that anymore. There's just not the same. There's just so much music, I guess, is part of it. But like, just to have these songs, these classics that everybody knows the words to feels like it's missing. I miss that. I miss those songs that everybody knows.
Yeah.
Well, people have been scared over the last few years, as the dance music scene has changed and evolved and more technology became involved. Things shifted more, the attention focused away from artists and songs, complete songs, to DJs and, no disrespect because I DJ as well, but to DJ focused as the artist as opposed to the singer-songwriter as the artist. When it shifted towards DJs, it became more about having a top line. And that's all they wanted was a top line, just a simple hook that made it, just memorable for that moment on the dance floor and then on to the next track. So you had technology making downloading and streaming and all of that like really, really easy. And so tracks were being put out very, very easy. You've got a saturated marketplace of music. You've got a consumer that's inundated with too much music, and you've got the quality of the music dialed down, dumbed down, and no one specific for the consumer to create a relationship with other than the DJ. They don't know who the songwriter is. They don't have a lifestyle and a culture to tap into in terms of like the creation of a work. So a lot of the songs that I've created long before Free and since Free that people know and love on whatever level, be it commercial or underground, that relationship is because they understand and they know my speak. When you hear a song that I wrote, you're hearing my interpretation personally, and you're hearing my voice, my cadence. You are locked into a relationship. You're not getting that when people are throwing out music every 5 minutes. They're only looking for like one small hook, and there's no story, there's no person, there's no history behind that. So it's a matter of a lot of different things all came together at the same time that kind of changed that climate. I think it's changing again because they're finding that while those songs, some of those songs are becoming hits, they're not becoming timeless classics, because the song is what anchors you to the dance floor. And the song is timeless no matter what music you put around it at whatever point in time.
This reminds me of a conversation. There's quite a few DJs down here, in South Florida, in Miami. One of them is Armand Van Helden, and he was like one of the only people that I hung with earlier on in the quarantine, and we were talking about songwriting and stuff, and he was like, basically like, Charlie, like, you're making great music, but is this stuff that people are going to play at weddings in 20 years?
I mean, seriously, that is absolutely an approach, and truly, because when I do write a song, I do think about, is this something that someone is going to listen to in 20 years? Are they going to be impacted by this in 20 years? So I'm not making a record for what is happening right now in music. Many of the songs that I wrote that became hits were not written for like what was going on with music at that moment, and probably had absolutely nothing to do with what was happening in music at that moment, but they resonated with people in a way. They resonated, and that's what made them stick, and that's what made them continue to stick for many years later. So yeah, he definitely has a point there.
For sure. Eli, maybe we should just switch our mentality. We should be just making future bar mitzvah hits.
Come on now. Hey,
salt and pepper.
It's like, no, it's like the cha-cha, like the cha-cha slide. You got to make. We've always talked about trying to make one of those songs.
That's true. These line dances. If you're making a line dance,
slide,
forget about it, dude.
But it's hard though. You can't. I mean, some things you can approach with that kind of specific attitude towards it, and then some things you just have to feel it, and it's just in the moment, and you can't overthink it, and there's no rhyme or reason why a certain song connects sometimes, but there are some things that give a song a little bit more breadth and opportunity to reach people if you do the work with the production. I think technology has been a blessing and a curse, because people have become it's been easier to make the music, but then people are using a lot of the same sounds and a lot of the same styles, and they're worried about charts, and they're worried about what clubs they're going to play it in, and what format, what dance floor they're going to play it for. And so they've created all these rules, and there's so many rules that you've made your lane really, really, really narrow.
Are you saying that you weren't even thinking about charts and any of this stuff when I like to think of in my fantasy of what it was like in the studio when you played back Free, for example? Like, did you have like this feeling, we're really onto something? Is this could really?
No, not at all.
No.
We were not thinking about charts at all. If we thought about charts, then we probably would have written a completely different kind of song.
Yeah.
Because there was nothing like Free in the marketplace. So we definitely wouldn't have gone that direction. And we would have gone with a much more safer option. Remember, I said we started with the guitars as the inspiration. There were no big, successful guitar house records at the time.
For sure.
And a lot of people said, on the dance, people don't respond to guitars on the dance floor. They respond to drums.
Mm-hmm.
But we're bringing a guitar track with some hella drums under it, and it's written in a rock kind of intonation with a gospel flow with a little gospel suey sauce on there, and a slight tinge of pop on top, so it's accessible to the masses and to the radio, but with that mood to swing New York underground rhythm pocket.
Oh yeah.
So there were a lot of different things going on in there, but there was absolutely no intention in terms of like, this is what's going to make it a hit. Like, we didn't know for sure what that was going to be. We just knew either people were going to love it or they were going to hate it and be like, what the hell were they doing? What are they doing?
I think your mic was muted, but you were saying like, I imagine you were saying like, yeah, just like you were like
a guitar on a house music song.
Get a guitar.
I think my pods are dying. Wait a minute, I might have to switch to my regular. I think that's what's happening. Did I go mute?
No, I was muted when I was saying you can't have a guitar on a house music track.
Yo, but you know, you gotta have a guitar if you want to get that bar mitzvah track of the future. Yo, I noticed our viewership jumped up a bunch. I want to just welcome everybody to Schmoozing. This is the show where every week Eli and I schmooze, which is just us casually talking with kick-ass guests like Ultra Naté, who's on the show today, and she is celebrating the re-released, remix versions of her classic "Free." And why don't we take a listen to some of the new versions? I pulled up the what's this? The B-Sites remix. You were telling me on the phone the Ibitali and Gregor Salto remix. Do you have a preference which one I play?
We just released the video today, and I need to post that on my socials, but I've been busy doing press today. But we just released the Ibitali Gregor Salto edit of the video today. So let's go with that one because I'm going to be posting that on my page.
But I see that there's two unique videos for those two. But if you guys want to check out, like, the package is out, you can go on.
It's everywhere. It's on all digital
platforms. On all the platforms.
iTunes, Amazon, all your digital platforms. And the day of release, it came in top 10 dance music albums in the U.S.
Woo.
And that was crazy. That was crazy.
It's crazy.
That was crazy.
Or as we like to say, it's everywhere. It's at Dance Tracks. It's at Vinyl Mania. It's up at Gramophone.
And more importantly, it's on my own label. Hello.
Oh yeah. Oh,
so did you?
I've been completely independent for the last 17 years. So 17 years I've been putting out my albums, putting out all my, collaborations and things like that. Everything people have seen of me since 2003 has been on my own label.
Yo, what was the record shop in DC that was so fresh? Something Hut.
Oh,
what was it called?
In DC, it was 12-inch Dance Records. 12-inch Dance Records was the place in DC.
What was the record shop I'm thinking of? I mean, there was Yoshitoshi that was in Georgetown, but what was the other one that was?
It was something Hut. It was something
Hut. I remember it's going all.
Only Hut I know is DJ Hut. That's the only one I know is DJ Hut.
Was it DJ Hut? I just remember getting all these amazing Baltimore club records, and was so tight. Anyway, here we go.
DJ Hut.
So good. Come on and try. Now's the time, 'cause you're free to do what you want to do. You got to live your life. Do what you want to do. 'Cause you're free to do what you want to do. You got to live your life. Are we all strangers? Does anyone really care? Deep down with all the shame, trying to hide our pain. You think you can never trust another, 'cause there are lost together. We have to live in this world together. If we open up the heart, love can finally start. Come on and try. Now's the time, 'cause you're free to do what you want to do. You got to live your life. Do what you want to do. 'Cause you're free to do what you want to do. You got to live
Where'd his clothes go?
When you're down and you're feeling bad, and everybody has left you sad, feels like no one will pull you through. It's your life, what you gonna do? Make that change, let's start today. Get out of bed, get on your way. Don't be scared, yo. So if you want it, reach for it. 'Cause you're free to do what you want to do. You know you got to live your life.
Killing it with the green screens too. Green screens and like bringing in the dancers. I love that. It really
It was
works.
it was a collective effort from a lot of our friends. While the pandemic was really in going deep, and people were home and they were depressed and sad, and like a whole lot of our friends, myself and the director Crystal Thompson, and asked them to just like shoot yourselves in a joyous moment and dancing. And we need to put that positivity out to the world, because people are really struggling right now, mentally and emotionally, with what all of these things that are happening around us. So it was just really important to we didn't want to do, and we couldn't do a big expensive production because no one could go anywhere, no one could do anything.
Yeah.
But we could utilize the tools of technology that we have to just put a really great work together and spread a little bit of joy and send a little love out there. And so that's what we did.
Well, that definitely shines through. I'm just gonna pull up. Speaking on the green screen, I'm doing a segue. We love segues. This is, check out your live stream. And you got there's dancers, green screen. It's rocking. Here's Ultra doing her thing on the DJ
hey,
tip. Oh, let me go full screen. But we were talking about that, like, here, let's let this play in the background a little bit. We were talking on the phone when we were chatting before the show about how it's like you gotta wear all hats. We're wearing all hats. She's DJing, she's producing, she's glam squad, she's green screening. It's nuts. And Eli and I feel that too. We're like, we're programming our Twitch channel. We're talk show hosts. We're producers. We're DJs. He's a dad. He's in school. I'm doing art installations. I'm a dog dad. Blah, 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 blah. And it's just like
the hats are many. Yeah.
It's already too much to just be a songwriter. You know what I mean? It's already too much to do it all. And it's like when we go back to some of these great moments like Free, for example, you got producers, guitar players, songwriters, record labels. But now it's like, forget it. No, you're indie, you're autonomous, you're wearing it all.
But I've been used to that. I mean, that's been my story most of my career, is doing as much as I can myself. And that's what helped us maintain a lot of control over the overall outlook, look of a lot of the work that I put out over the years. And of course, that's increased as I became completely independent in 2003, 2004. So I've been used to that. It's just a matter of like when the pandemic hit, then everything went up exponentially because I knew what I wanted my streams to look like. But it was just a matter of like learning very quickly how to produce all of that, from the tech side to, the aesthetics. So it was a lot of things going on there in the minutia, and I was pulling my hair out. I had a really great team of people supporting me in the background from a distance remotely. Sean Q from SQ Audio, who works with Deep Sugar, and Bill Junius. We did a lot of studying, all of us, and we're working on ideas and how to execute things, and just trying to like keep all the balls in the air. But inevitably, I was home by myself and had to, make it all happen together. Once it all came together, So that was it was stressful, but it was crazy, but wonderful at the same time.
So this was recorded at your home.
Yes.
And you were telling me that you have the club system at your house, and your neighbors are like, "Oh no, F this, we are out of here."
Yeah, they haven't been too happy since I've been, turning the system up. And I still haven't turned it all the way up. You know,
No.
they're like, "You're shaking our walls, you're killing
Yo.
us." And
I have
I'm
a-
like, you know,
I have
like
a
I said
feeling that-
yesterday, I'll shake this building if I want.
I have a feeling, like Spinal Tap,
So I
that
haven't turned
system
it up, no.
that system turns up to 11.
Oh yeah, totally. But I've never turned it up past 6 in this building. Otherwise, like they'd be able to hear it like 4 blocks away. So no.
So what do you
No.
got over there? You got how many subs? How many tops?
Listen, enough to make it happen. That the whole building was like, "Girl, okay,
Man,
you know who you are, what you do, but listen, you're killing us right now. You're killing us." So it's been interesting. But you know, it sounds so good. Like, how do you not? We're in a pandemic. Get over it, right?
Yo. I'm jelly because like Eli and I was talking about like, well, we'll finish a track and we have studio reference, we have home audio, we have the car test. Sometimes it's tricky to get the club test. You gotta have the club test.
Yeah.
So
You need the club test. I need to open it up. You need to open it up sometimes, and you know. But I would open it up periodically. But once I started doing the live streaming, I was opening it up consistently. And you know, once I get excited and start getting into the vibe, I'm turning it up even further. You know how DJs do. It needs to be louder. You know, we need a little more cowboys, a little bit more. And next thing you know, you're like, and then the neighbors are like, "What in the entire hell is happening?" So that's kind of how it's been.
Check this out.
You know, I actually my streaming setup is in the room below my bedroom. So when it gets late and my wife goes to bed, there is a very clear limit. And it's also, you know, once we put our daughter to bed too, it's like can't go too loud. So I'm waiting.
Yeah.
So one of these days I'm gonna have a live stream where I can just turn up, but I'm still like in the quiet.
She should have known better.
I didn't come for that place.
She married the DJ, Eli.
I mean, she's totally cool, except when she's like trying to go to sleep and the music is below our bed, you know?
Sure.
That's extreme.
Yeah.
Sure.
My son is used to it. He's a disco baby, so he's used to me. But there are times even he'll come in and be very Christian, like, "Mom, can you turn it down?" I'm like, who are you? Like, what? What are you talking about? Turn it down. Sacrilegious.
What kind of music does your son like, Ultra?
Some of this really messy hip hop, but in all fairness, you know, he doesn't try to give me too much credit, but he does listen to a lot of house music and he really appreciates it. And every now and then he'll just be dancing and singing to some little diddly and on his own, not knowing I'm paying attention. And I'm like, "Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
I see you. You know?
Is he feeling like the mumble rap?
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't see it, but you know.
Have you heard it? You guys know about squeak rap though?
Oh Jesus, no.
Let's watch.
Not another incarnation, please.
Let's check this out real quick.
No, we don't need to go squeak rap. Come on.
You don't want to hear squeak rap? Yo.
No.
Yo, because
2019, bro.
Yo, I collaborate. Well, we collaborate Ultra with Life on Planets, who is and he's Baltimore. And he played me a new track that he wrote, and he had some squeaky moments on it, and I was like, "Yo, you going Squeak House?" So I don't know. It was kind of fresh though. I'm not a fan. I mean, I think it's hilarious, as you know from our Bandcamp song of the week. If the Chipmunks are on the track,
you like that squeak. You like that squeak.
If you can still see us,
any era, any squeak.
No, look, this is not like come on the show and defend squeak rap. I don't really care. So it's all good.
I don't even know what it is, so I can't really trash it.
I'm gonna send you a link. I'm gonna text you a link.
Thanks.
But check this out, yo. This is the Deep Sugar live stream, where the residents are doing their thing. This is the 17th anniversary this is like a couple years back, but
no, it was just November, just passed.
Oh, I'm tripping. This is last November, just passed.
This is November 2020. Yep.
This is from November 2020. And this is what happens when you produce your own show.
We're 17. Now we're like 18. This is year 18. We're going like
feels like it
crazy.
Could have been an eternity. But check out the residents doing their thing. This is the Deep Sugar Squad Familia.
And our big papa, Wayne Davis, makes it all happen.
Yeah, and Destruction, who is definitely your number one fan, especially on this broadcast. And he is bigging up Picking it up.
Just bringing up life on planet.
Deconstruction.
Yup. Oh, I gotta roll back. Look at this. Look at this bit. He wrote this. Check this out. Where is it?
And a big
All right.
congratulations to
Here,
Ariel
Destruction.
getting
My
married
only
this
Ultra Naté
weekend.
story is that I got to stand on her DJ stool in the Paradox.
It's not a stool. It's
Well,
a
we-
platform, a riser.
Oh, it's a riser.
Because I like to be on top of the console. I don't like to be right here with it. I like to be over top of it, so
Yeah,
that I
yeah.
feel like I, have full control of the expanse of the console. So I have a platform because I'm little.
Yo, Louis Vega style, man. I feel it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Trade secrets. I shouldn't be revealing trade secrets. I could use one. I'm like 5'8" on a good day, and sometimes it just ain't enough.
Sometimes it's not enough, and you have to be on. You gotta be on top of your console. That's
We
the
gotta
bottom
have
line.
big personalities to make up for it.
Well, we do clearly. Clearly.
Check it out here.
Clearly.
Where's some more
I think my sound is going to change in a second because my AirPods are dying. They've been working overtime today.
You probably
so it may go to.
That's all good. That's all
They
good.
just gave me a warning that they're going down to 5%. I'm like,
Oops. You could probably take the pods out. I don't think it'll give you, as long as you have echo cancellation turned on, you should be golden. Do you see where that is in cam in the wheel down there? The cog wheel says cam mic. If you just hit that, go to audio and just make sure that button echo cancellation is rocking.
Okay, wait a minute. Cam wheel. Where am I looking for that?
Are you on your phone or on a laptop?
On laptop.
On a laptop. If you look down below, it says cam mic.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Or cog wheel. Hit that cog wheel. Then press the audio button.
Yeah.
And do you see that one that says echo cancellation?
Yes, it's clicked. Okay, we're good.
All right,
I love this. We're giving everybody a tutorial on StreamYard.
And this is
I
how
know,
we
right?
use StreamYard. Yes. Yo, I just want to say that going and preparing this show, I knew you had videos for days, but you got videos for days. We could have a whole secondary Ultra episode just watching videos of yours, which is so dope. And I'd love to use our remaining half hour or so to just kind of bang through some of these because there's some really great ones. Here's one that I love so much, and it's so dope because here we go. Check it out. This is a real Ultra classic. How Long? What year did this record come out?
How Long came out in 93?
93. This is crushing it. And it's got that early 90s sound that Eli and I are like absolutely nuts about. Well, I mean, we're like born in the 80s, but we're like 90s of age in the 90s.
It was a good era.
Oh my goodness.
A good decade.
This record is produced by Nelly Hooper, who did like Soul to Soul, Keep on Moving, which is like,
Yep.
jam.
The whole Soul to Soul vibe. Yes.
Yo, Soul to Soul. We love Soul to Soul. Actually, funny Soul to Soul story, just real quick, is that we had Jazzy B play our party that was at Old Street, mate, in this like the roundabout at Old Street at the Old Street station. Well, they put like a
Old
bar.
Street. Yeah.
They put a bar and like a food court area right in the middle. And we were doing our XOYO residency. So we were doing this
Shout out to London crew.
Shout out to London. Shout out to XOYO. And it's like during the daytime, we'd have a party up there and we program that. And then at night, we move it to the club. And I'll impress this button. And we do our thing there in a club where we're supposed to be. Anyway, long story short, we had Jazzy B come and do the daytime thing. It was like so dope. And we're like huge Soul to Soul fans. He's the nicest guy ever, but he's got a presence. The guy's like 10 feet tall and he's got the long dreads and he's massive. Like, huge. His arms are like huge. And we had this real prick of a guy from like the city council or something that's just out there. Not only did they put the whole system in this thing on like a ridiculous limiter that like as soon as you have like any sort of vibe, the whole system starts ducking. It's so awful. Tiny speakers, everything sounds like crap. And you know, the Brits are like, they're like frothing for it. You know, they really want to have a party.
Turn it up.
So whatever, this guy from the council, poor guy. I mean, he was a prick, but he also was like had a prick job. You know, he's like got to be the guy to like sort of come and like bring like the like parent vibe to the party. And he had his decibel meter, right?
Wow.
And he would sit there like with a frown on his face, like, man. And he'd be like, as soon as the decimal meter, it's like, oh, mate, you got to turn it roll. And like, you know, so Jazzy B, he's like, I'll handle this. And he just walked up to the guy. He's like, right. And he's like, can I see your meter? And the guy gave it to him. Jazzy B just put it in his back pocket and just straight up like,
what? Gangster.
And just stood there and he goes like, give it back. And Jazzy B's like, nah. You know, like, anyway.
I love it. Jazzy's like, whatever, dude. Whatever.
Whatever. I love that story so much. Sorry. That was a total sidetrack.
Well, look, Nelly Hooper, who produced a bunch of Soul to Soul jams, also produced this one, How Long? That's amazing. He's got so many. He's got multiple Grammys. Nelly Hooper, huh? Including U2 and Sinead O'Connor. Amazing.
That's right. That's right. This was during my second album, One Woman's Insanity, when I was Warner US.
Gotta have that orchestra hit. What a tune, man.
Those were fun times. Oh my gosh, that video. That just reminded me of the craziest story with that video. I don't think I've ever told anyone. And every time I see that video, it just reminds me of the dress that I'm wearing.
Oh.
Because they were actually sewing it on me that day, like sewing me into the dress.
What?
Yeah, it had been like a whole thing with Warner. When I came to Warner US, they said, okay, you gain weight. You've got to lose weight.
Wow.
Oh, it's listen, major labels.
This is what you deal with major labels, huh?
Major labels are not a game. They're nobody's game because you're their investment. I mean, you're basically an indentured servant. So, that's a whole nother story. We need another hour for that. But, coming from Blue Notes in the Basement era, I was dancing at the club 4 nights out of the week, partying and dancing for hours and hours and hours. So of course I was skinny as a rail. Plus I was a kid. But fast forward, by the time I was doing my second album, I had spent years on the road and traveling and, eating whatever food I could catch and this and that and the other. And I had gained a few pounds, but I was still young. So it wasn't tremendous, but by, major label standards, they didn't want me as heavy as I was at that moment. So before we started like doing visuals for that record, they were like, you're too heavy. You got to lose weight. So I was crushed. My feelings were hurt. I was tragic to be told I was fat.
You don't do that, major labels.
But, I gathered it together in my very Pisces Aries style and was like, okay, let me sort myself out because I am on a major label and I need to lose weight. So I had done I hired a master trainer who I love to this day. He taught me some wonderful things that I've carried with me into the rest of my life. And I did this whole exercise thing and slimmed down. It was perfect and all this great. I learned a lot of things about eating and exercise and all these great things. So it was actually very beneficial for me. It was rude, but it was beneficial. And that day, they put that dress together and they were sewing. I mean, they wanted it like a second skin. So I'm in there and I still have that dress. Like it's probably somewhere still in my storage archives. Oh. As a memento, but I'll never be able to get back into it again. Just in believe, no, it'll disintegrate before I can actually get in that thing again.
Wow.
But every time I see the video is so good. I'm like partying, but all I can remember is these people pulling every inch of me, to put me in this dress from head to toe, and I couldn't move. That's why I feel like I see the background story of how difficult it was for me to do a lot of the things in the video that I needed to do because I was so cinched and pulled in so many kind of ways.
They're like, don't worry about it, Ultra. We'll just make the bed rotate. It'll do all the motion.
Yeah, you just work it out. But it taught me a lot of great things that, like I said, I carried into my career later on. That's that's why when I wear corsets on stage for my live shows and I'm cinched and pulled and people are like, how in the world do you sing in that thing? But you learn these things over time. It becomes conditioning because you are you're an athlete in a certain way, in that kind of way, in this context, in all of the behind the scenes kind of stuff that's going on in order for you to, look and sound and present yourself a certain way as to what the expectation is at that moment.
I mean, Eli knows I got chubbed out on the road for a minute. I've sorted myself out since quarantine. Thank heavens. Eli, how come you never told me to put a corset on, dude? I could have used that. You're like, nah, you just go out there.
Listen, Charlie, you still, even with a corset is not magic. It's not a magic trick. It is a magic trick, but it is not going to get rid of what isn't there. It's just going to move it around.
It moves it around, move it up, move it up, move it down.
Move it up and down, yeah. But it's, it can't get rid of it. So
cultural reminders that just flashed in my head. One is this scene that I freeze frame on. That reminds me of what was it, Legend with David Bowie? Was it Legend where he falls through the thing and there's all these hands? You remember that scene?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
And they were still figuring those things out on the fly as we were shooting the video. It was a really long, hard day because there were so many things that they were still figuring out on the fly while we were in production. I don't even know how much that video cost, but I'm sure we went way over the budget.
The other is sort of crazy. Cosby,
Yeah. It was a great learning experience. And one of the charmed parts of being on a major label is to have, that level of production.
Sure. And then lastly, top line. That kind of gave me like a Baby Wants to Ride vibe.
Really?
Oh,
I've never heard that. But I'm too inside it, so you can't go by me. Because I hear all kinds of other things. I hear my whole life in 1993 and 94, right? When I hear that song, like my whole life is flashing before me in a completely different era in time. So you can't go by me.
Go. Let me see. Maybe I can.
I'm curious how it happened, how you ended up getting signed to Warner's. And was it the UK or was it in the US?
Because I was jumping around at the club, just being a club kid. I discovered house music at Odell's here, and just kind of on a whim one day. I think I was still in high school. It was like Thanksgiving weekend or something, and everyone was going out, and someone told me about this club, and I went there and fell in love with it. And then I didn't go back again until the summer of that year when I graduated.
Who was DJing that first time?
I didn't know that night, but in hindsight, it was probably Tony Fashaw, maybe, or at that time, because I think by then Wayne had moved into just to strictly a management position and was no longer DJing. So I didn't hear him play at the time, but I knew once I became firmly entrenched in the scene, I came to know and understand and respect his legacy and who he was and what he meant and what Odell's was for the people of Baltimore. And so in that environment, I met Tommy Davis of the Basement Boys, because Tommy was one of the key DJs at one of the record stores here where everybody went to get their copy of what the DJs played over the weekend at the club. And so he was really, shaping the dance music culture here in Baltimore from that standpoint as well. And Tommy and I just started rapping and hanging out and getting to know each other through that situation. And I sang a bit from my church, but I wasn't like a singer in that way. I just kind of sang in the choir in the background. I kind of carried my, alto, second soprano area. But that was it. I wasn't a singer by trade in any kind of way. I wasn't a songwriter. I had no aspiration in a real way to do that. I was planning on going into medicine, and I had just graduated from Dunbar. And I was in the college prep medical occupations curriculum. So I was taking college level courses while I was still in high school. And once I graduated from high school, I started at University of Maryland, and I was kind of accelerated because I had taken a lot of the basic classes already in high school. And in that situation, I was still a little kid. I was still a freshman. So being in those accelerated courses kind of put a pressure on me that I wasn't ready for. And I didn't feel like I had a proper support system around me to really help me acclimate to the demand that I was under at that moment. And so that was going on one side. And then the other piece was on the weekends, I had discovered this whole club culture and this amazing sound system culture and these people and this dancing and this energy and just great music that I knew and loved, and this new, which was basically like R&B and whatever, like they played just across the board, whatever was like hot, and it didn't have to be necessarily house because that wasn't so specific a thing just quite yet.
Yeah.
And so I fell in love with this whole thing over here. And once Tommy invited me to come down to the studio to work with Basement Boys, to meet the Basement Boys. And that was Jay Steinauer and Teddy Douglas. They were looking for singers and songwriters and just kind of building their collective of talent. And I met with them, and they were like, okay, well, it was me and like other singers that came that same night. And they were like, everybody, just do a cappella and let's just hear what you do. So I did Angela Winbush's Angel and sang that a cappella. And whatever I did, they really loved it. And they started working with me after that point. And I don't know what happened with any of the other folks, but I never saw any of them again. And they were all proclaimed singers. So I don't know what happened there. But I think because my vocal style and my sound was very, I have a raspy voice, obviously. And I had a very significant bluesy, kind of jazzy intonation and flow with my thing. So I think that resonated with them more. I was a little left of her. I wasn't so like straight down the lane. I was, a little alt leaning in my stylings, and that appealed to them. So we just started working together. And the first time we really wrote a song, we wrote "It's Over Now," and it was very casual. The basement of Jay's house was actually where the studio was, and it was kind of like in a separate part of the front part of the basement. And in the back part of the basement was where the kitchen, bathrooms, and where you hung out. And so we just kind of hung out in the kitchen area and scribbled these lyrics of what we were all thinking about and going through. And it just turned into this whole heartbreak song. And I was going through that because I had broken up with like my first real boyfriend, maybe a year before that. It was very real stuff going on here. So when it came time to like write lyrics, we just kind of wrote what we felt, and it just happened very naturally. So then I have this piece of paper with these lyrics that match nothing. And they were like, well, let's just pull this dad out the closet here, and here's this track and see what you come up with. And that was it. I went in the booth, kind of bounced off this backbeat and had these lyrics like, okay, well, here we go. And I just kind of was winging it. So I sang the demo of what became "It's Over Now." And they were working with Cynthia Cherry, because they had done a record on Jump Street called "Love Don't Live Here No More," which Teddy Douglas sings the leads on. And it's a jam, a total bop. But Teddy didn't want to be a vocalist. He didn't want that role. He wanted to be in the background. He wanted to be a DJ, a producer, DJ, and leave it at that. So they didn't want to go any further with that. And at the same time, Cynthia was leaving Jump Street in New York, which was just a small independent label. And she was going to Warner UK. That was happening simultaneously. They had given "It's Over Now," the demo, to Tony Humphries in New York. Zanzibar was the place to be. Everybody knew it. Everybody loved it. The commercial world started coming to the club to hear what Tony was playing, because he was playing all these underground tracks that were being made in people's basements. The whole Jersey sound, like everyone was making this music organically. All of these artists, DJs, producers were coming up out of nowhere with no budgets and coming up with this really creative, interesting new sound, which was house, or at that time, as the UK kids called it, garage. And so she took that song, because Tony made it so big and it was getting, notoriety also on the UK side through his Kiss FM show and Norman J and High on Hope over there. That song got signed through Cynthia Cherry to Warner Brothers UK, but it was only for a 12-inch. It was supposed to be for one single with an option for a second single. And when I wrote the second song, which was a completely different kind of pop R&B dance song, then they looked at it like, wait a minute, this is a whole different style than this "It's Over Now" song. So this girl's got some breath here, some chops to come up with some different things. And then it evolved into an album deal, and that became Blue Notes from the Basement. So that really is how it all started, very organically. And just, I don't know, it was just a series of amazing things all fell into place all at the right time.
Were you nervous leaving your med school trajectory?
No, not at all.
Thank God.
I mean, when you're a kid, you're like, well, what do I got to lose? I'm going to live forever, So, and then it wasn't like I was leaving for some cookie cutter adventure, because I never would have done that. I was leaving because I had a major label deal with Warner Brothers, and I was putting out an album, and suddenly I was in England, waking up in Portobello, about to shoot a video for my first single, and then I'm on Top of the Pops, and this was a thing, and that was a thing, and then we got another single coming, and there's another video to go, and I've got to do another press day, and then okay, that's all successful. Now I've got another album to do, and the next thing you know, just the time goes by. You're like, okay, wow, it's been 6 years and 2 albums, and I've traveled the world, and my name is all over the place, and I'm on buses. I've
been sewn into my clothing.
Yes, exactly. Like all these really amazing experiences. So, when it was all going down, my family, no one looked at it like, what are you doing? Because from the beginning of it, it was like, just this crazy moment. The only time my mother ever gave me any pushback, because that just wasn't her flow anyway, because I've never been that kind of kid. I always was working on something very independent and usually in something positive. So she never really had to worry too much about me getting involved in messy kind of things. But at one point when I was doing Odell's really heavily, she was like, I don't know about this being out to 6 a.m. thing. I think we're going to do a curfew at like midnight. And I'm like, that is not going to work out. And that's the only time we ever had like any kind of drama. Because I'm like, Mom, the club really just doesn't open until 11. Like, nobody's going to be trying to come home at midnight. Like, what are you talking about? You sound crazy. You know? And so like she, you know, gave me a minute of pushback, and then that was it. After that really, I was on my own anyway. I got my own apartment very early. I mean, I think I moved out when I was 18, 19 years old, something like that. I moved out and got my own apartment. So no one could really dictate to me. I had a job. I had my own apartment. I had my own car, and I was paying for my life. So no one could really say what you should or shouldn't do, because I was doing it for myself. And my mother taught me that very early on. And I think probably when I was like 13 or 14 years old, and it was time to buy clothes for school the next year. And she wanted me to buy a certain style of clothing, and I wanted a different style of clothing because I had a vision of what I wanted to look like. And she said, as long as I'm paying for it, I decide what the clothes are. And if you want to do it your way, then you need to pay for it. And from that moment on, I was like, got it. Okay. And so there you go.
You got good parentals.
You know what I mean? I was like, I got it. I see what you're saying. And that makes sense. So let me go get a job next year for the summer. And I'm going to buy all my own clothes next year.
What was your summer job?
I had a blue chipping job, but probably no one knows what that is except for people in Baltimore right now. Yeah. Are you familiar with that?
What's blue chipping?
I don't even know now at this point, but it was some kind of job series for kids who are still in high school, and they could work during the summer at their schools. And so I worked in the I went to Northern Parkway Junior High, and I worked in the office doing administrative stuff all summer long. And that was my first job, and I made enough money to buy my wardrobe for school the next year. And I was content with that.
You know, I did that when I wanted to start DJing. I was like, I was using my dad's turntable to try to scratch. He's like, that's not going to fly. You're not going to scratch my records. No. So
I hear you.
You're going to get your own turntable. So I had to go get a summer job so I could buy my Technics.
It's important. It's important to give our kids those kind of tools. Yeah.
And you know what also worked out for me, because I was actually a much worse kid, because I was going to raves. Like my friends were I had a bunch of older friends who were who were in college, and I'm like summer after freshman year of high school, and they're taking me to raves in New Hampshire, you know, in Connecticut, in New York. And like, so I would tell my parents I was sleeping in another friend's house, get picked up from my job, you know, and then drive to New Hampshire, and then, you know, show up at like, you know, 1 p.m. the next day, like, hey parents.
Oh my God.
Like,
so much crap.
And then they finally got caught, and that was, you know, there was hell to pay for that one, but.
No, unfortunately, I didn't have too many of those dramas, and it's been an amazing ride for the last 30 plus years now. I mean, because, you know, It's Over Now came out in 1989, and so here we are now in 2021, and I've just put out the remixes for free, and Fierce, the new single, and there's so many other things that are going on that I can't even like tell you all about yet, because I got to wait for the signing on the dotted line to happen, and then that will start to come to play. So there's like another single coming out in a minute that I'm really proud of, and I'll tell you more about that when we come back at another time.
Yes,
but
please.
I'm also working on my 10th album, and I plan on putting that out at the end of this year. It's called Glass Houses. I can tell you that much.
Cool. Amazing. 10 albums. That is like that is nothing to sneeze at right there. And I think like something we talked about last week too with Nona Hendrix. I mean, like, it's very hard to have that long of a music career, you know, like especially doing it your way. I mean, maybe it's like there's two sides of it. One is especially doing it your way, however you want, but maybe that's the only way you really can maintain a career for that long. Because if you're relying,
we got
the top. If you're relying on anybody else, if you're relying on labels, you're not going to be the you know, the hot shit anymore, and they're not going to care. So you have to kind of. Be independent and keep
at the time, once I left Warner Brothers, I didn't want to go necessarily back into a corporate kind of situation. By that time, I was on the wrong side of 25, as they say. And And so I knew that I was not going to get a great deal. And so it was time to look for a better deal situation. And Strictly came about quite organically, thanks to Gladys Pizarro. She wanted to do a record with me anyway. And that was the perfect situation of coming together with an independent label, but one that had the right kind of capital that I needed to still have the budgets and the infrastructure in place that I have been used to on Warner Brothers, of how you actually build a record and make it successful. Because these things don't happen by osmosis. There actually is like a whole process that happens to build a record and make it successful. So I was very fortunate there. And then by the time we went completely independent, we knew the lay of the land, and things had changed on the technology side, and the business model had changed considerably. So it was time to go completely independent at that point anyway. Oh, wait, it's 6 o'clock. I've got to get ready to go.
That's right. Ultra's got a hard stop.
I know. I hate that, but yeah, I've got to get ready to go.
This has been so much fun. Thank you so much. If you got to bounce right now, I'm so glad you brought up It's Over Now, because it is our vinyl thoughts. I have my copy here. And I got to shout out our dearly departed, the Saadi, the Our Child Ali, aka Cool DJ Me, who is this is our connection to Parliament Funkadelic. Our connection. He was George Clinton's nephew, and the reason we got to work with George. But he was a Newark head and was a Zanzibar head, and he was, was there when that record debuted, and he was like, "Charlie, I'm gonna buy you a copy on wax. Let's go on Discogs," and bought me this copy. So as soon as we were booked from the show, I'm like, I know this is gonna be our but just gotta shout him out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
guys, for having me. I love this long chat. I never get to chat this long to have get
come
it.
Back, come schmoozing.
Like other things, it's always like the big ticket items, and then it's over with and done. So thank you. I appreciate it. I love the platform. I love what you guys are doing. And as soon as things pick up again and I'm moving, I got to get you guys to come back together and with me in the building as well, so we can get that proper disco going on. And Charlie, be on the lookout. I'm coming to Miami in late March, actually.
No, come on, please. I'll cook you dinner happily. Come meet my dog. It'll be mango season by then. Hopefully, we got a big mango tree. You can pick from the tree. And we're gonna start sending you demos, so watch out.
All right, cool. You guys take care. Keep it positive, and everybody stay safe. Everybody out there in Twitch land, thank you. I got to jump over to Voice America now with my favorite prince. So
it's over now. This interview is over now.
Thank you, guys.
Respect. Oh my gosh, what? That was a killer show. She's the jam.
She
unbelievable. Med school student. Come on now.
Yeah.
Watch out.
I mean, it takes that we see with Nona and her, it takes that kind of mentality to survive through music for so long, man. It's like, being able to do everything, being able to do anything, and being able to be excited to learn new things. So big shout out to Ultra. That was amazing. Next week we have another OG diva of house.
Destruction, you got it right. OMG. It is the queen of house music herself, Miss Barbara Tucker. I want to rewind for a second and big up our boy Mr. V in the chat. What's up, V? We miss you.
Soul Channel Music.
Yes. Soul Channel. Slavadaba. I see you.
Big love.
Love all of our our Twitch Soul Clap Music channel.
Thanks so much for hanging with us. Everybody, all the new folks. Saw some big numbers today, so that was great. And hopefully we'll see you all next week here on Schmoozing, but also tomorrow night on our channel.
Yep.
The Soul Clap Music channel. We have our virtual back-to-back.
Yeah, check us out.
Yeah, we'd love to see you there too. And then Sunday, I got my Unicorn Disco for Tots Sunday morning, and then Charlie's back with Mental Mondays.
Mondays night.
Monday, Tuesday is Soul Clap Record Show on the Soul Clap Music channel, and Wednesday is Digital Dreamscapes. Digital Dreamscapes with Charlie and Natasha Thompson.
Yo, check it out if you guys were feeling the music today. There were so many more videos we didn't get a chance to play. Check out the Get It Up, the Feeling video. So dope. That's such a great song. Found a Cure. That's another great one. Great video. Check it out. For How Long, that cut from the 93, there's so many sick remixes. The Sound Factory mix, the Underground Solution mix. What? Unbelievable. So much great music.
Destruct Sean said more Life on Planets, and yes, Charlie and Phil are doing a
Gotta
little
plug
live
that.
set on It's Good TV for the festival they're having over the weekend on Saturday.
Sorry, It's Good TV. I forgot to plug that, and I really should have. And it's going to be live. We're going to be doing a live hybrid where we're playing sort of deconstructed tracks, and I'm playing keys, and Phil's playing guitar and singing. So that's going to be a fun time.
Yes. All right. Well, let's get to our final thoughts.
Final thought. Once again, Ultra Naté. I'm going to stop ever calling her Ultra Naté. It's Ultra Naté. See that accent?
Hey, that's right.
Great. It's over now. I'm going to be playing the Basement Boys mix. But, the Tony Humphries mix is pretty dope. Whatever.
Can't go wrong. Little Tony
Here
Humphries.
we go. Shout out to Sadi, the Our Child, Ali. We miss you wherever you are. We miss you. And we change cameras. Love you guys. See you next week with Miss Barbara Tucker. It's going to be dope. This has been a great February, Black History Month. And these are incredible, strong.
We got some amazing Black women in March as well. So, keep it moving. Moving. We got Stacey Hotwax Hale, who we've been trying to get on the show for so long, and finally our schedules worked out. So Stacey is an inspiration as well. So super excited to have her in March. And we also got T. Williams from the UK. Going to talk a lot about the UK garage. So yeah, it's all exciting. And let's hit that final thoughts, and see you soon out there in the Twitchverse. Peace out.
through. It's over. It's over. It's over now. No more me and you. I think we're through. It's over. Over now. No more me and you. I think we're through. Hey baby, what's going on?
Oh baby, I just don't know. It's hard for me to explain. I think maybe I just need some time. And maybe I just need some space. I'm so confused. I really do love you. It's just, I don't know, it's just not enough. It's me, it's not you, it's me. I don't understand, it's just something I'm just going through. I hope it's not over between us.
I think we're through.